Welcome back, everybody. On today's show, we're gonna switch it up a little bit here. I'm sure you guys already heard about the shooting, and my condolences go to those families, of course. But what some people are not noticing is this: how can they go from suspect now in custody to this? And I'll show you guys. I'm sure you guys can see it on yourselves, but take a
Acts
look.
of violence in this country's recent history. 17 people have been killed at the hands of a lone gunman. Now, tonight, we're learning more about the victims and the horrific ordeal that ended in the suspect shot dead.
The suspect shot dead.
Today is a devastating day for Nova Scotia.
I'll just make this quick. I usually don't do this kind of videos. I usually do weather videos, flat Earth, Call of Duty videos. But the mainstream media, we already know that they lie. And if I don't put this out there, I feel like I'm just being like everybody else and just sucking in everything they're saying. But I don't want to say too much ideas out there, but how can it go from he's in custody to now he's shot dead? And one other thing that I think is really fishy is that the police vehicle, and they have footage of it. You guys can look at it yourself if you want to look on CBC News. They have footage of the car being burnt. I mean, two police vehicles just torched to. But wouldn't that be a perfect? Hang on. But wouldn't that be a perfect way to cover any evidence? Anyways, you be the judge. Leave a like and check this out.
A violent incident in a small community near Truro. The suspect was on the run for several tense hours this morning. And with that, we were just speaking with Shayna Luck, as you saw with Rosemary, but let's bring in Shayna once again. She's in Great Village, and this is close to where this morning's events unfolded. So Shayna, hello to you. Let's go over the events as you have them for those that are just joining us right now across the country, as I said, across multiple platforms. So what do we know at this point?
Hello, Michael. Well, it's been quite a morning, as I was just saying. We know that this happened. It began about 12 hours ago, around 11:30 last night, in Portapique, which is shortly up the road from me, probably about a 10-minute drive from where I'm standing in Great Village. And we know from the RCMP that some kind of violent incident happened in Portapique. They are telling us that there were multiple victims. We don't yet know exactly what that means, whether that is two people, whether that is more than two people. We don't know how many yet. We also don't know anything about the state of the injuries to those people, or indeed we don't know whether those are fatalities. But we do know that when that happened, the hospital in Truro, which is probably about 20 minutes over to the west of here, that hospital went into lockdown right away at 11:30 last night. It stayed in lockdown until at least this morning. And this manhunt, shall I say, began looking for a suspect, a 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman. He is a denturist, and we believe he owns multiple properties in the Portapique area as well.
Something else that I want to throw in there is that it took them 12 or 13 hours to catch this guy. Usually, when anything goes off that somebody just shot somebody, usually cops are there within minutes. They chase the people and everything, but I think it's a little fishy that it took them that long. And even though they had armored vehicles too, because they got footage there too. I'm sure you guys can see that yourself if you want to do your own research. But I don't know, it's pretty fishy stuff going on. But check it out.
As in the city of Halifax and Dartmouth. So we do know that that person, Gabriel Wortman, has been apprehended. That happened probably about, I'd say, an
There he goes. He just said it again. He's been apprehended, not shot dead. Like, you cannot mess up that bad if you're doing the news. Like, if you're doing the news, and this is like, look at the CBC News, don't you think you'll be able to get your story straight? Pretty heavy duty stuff. And this is already in the morning. This is already, I mean, he was dead already by this time.
Hour ago, maybe a little bit more. The RCMP told us that they were able to apprehend him between here and the city. He apparently had left the Portapique area. There was some discussion that he might have been traveling in a vehicle that looked like an RCMP vehicle. He might have been wearing a uniform that looked like an RCMP uniform. We're a little unclear on exactly where those came from, how he got those. But shortly after the RCMP told us that, apparently he must have switched vehicles, or perhaps the RCMP updated their information in some way, because they later told us that he was sighted in a small silver SUV. So at some point after that, it all was happening very quickly, Michael. The RCMP told us that he was apprehended, and so he's in custody now. We're still waiting for an update from the RCMP this afternoon with exactly how this all unfolded, but that's what we know at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we've also been hearing from people who were essentially holed up in their basements all night long, talking about the great fear that they were experiencing throughout the night and into the early morning hours. So,
anyways, I can't play no more. I don't want YouTube to give me a slap in the hand. But you guys can go ahead, check it out for yourselves. When things don't add up and people don't speak out, I think that's really, really bad. Because if they made a mistake,